Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Cincinnati. My name is Reverend Connie Simon. Located on the ancestral lands of the Adena, Hopewell, Miami, and Shawnee people, our urban community welcomes all with love, supports learning and spiritual growth, serves our wider community, and works for justice, equity, and inclusion. We are glad you're here with us this morning, whether in person or virtually. During the service, you may hear mention of programs or other items of interest. It may raise questions for you. If you'd like to learn more about these events, our community, or ask questions about our community and our faith, please contact us at member-care@firstuu.com. We begin our time this morning by lighting our chalice, the chosen symbol of our faith, with these words by Jamie Yandel. We light this flame to ignite the sacred power of justice. We light this flame so that it may be a beacon of hope in moments of uncertainty, fear, anxiety, and the unknown. We light this flame and are emboldened by its blaze, knowing our strength as a prophetic and powerful people is rooted in the diverse ways we answer the call to love. Please join now in singing our vision song. The words will appear on the screen. We are
my brother will forgive me for telling you this, but when we were children, we used to fight all the time. And I don't mean that we would have disagreements or squabble. I mean we would fight. Now, he might tell you a different story, but from what I recall, he always started the fights. And I would always end them by calling in the authorities, our parents. Until one day, our parents weren't home. And I just wanted the fight to be over. And so it occurred to me to say 3 little words. I love you. And it was like a switch. We stopped fighting. It was so impactful, in fact, that from there on, whenever I wanted a fight to be over, or even when I noticed that a fight was about to begin, I would just say that, I love you, and it would stop. As adults, we no longer fight, though we do have our disagreements. But those 3 words, I love you, are stronger than any disagreement we could ever have. And I can't help but wonder, what if those 3 words guided every relationship in our life?
What if Bunny's not a bully? By Lena Button. Illustrated by Christine Bettis. When it comes to bullies, Bunny is a queen. She used to always play with us, but she was super mean. There's Bunny. There's the bully. She looks extra mean today. Stick together, everyone. Make sure she stays away. Don't look in case she's glaring. She's sure to make you sad. I bet she'd like to fight us, so don't make that bully mad. But why is she a bully? What'd she do and what'd she say? Bunny's just a bully. It's always been that way. Was Bunny born a bully? Is that the reason why? Was she the bully baby who made all the babies cry? Or did she start out friendly, a kid like you and me, but ran into a bully bug whose stinger makes you mean? Did she take a tumble and get a nasty lump? Does she have an allergy that gave her bully bumps? Did she pass a bully test at Be a Bully school, where do mean things to others is the bully golden rule? And will Bunny be the bully even when she's old and gray? When we're old as grandmas, will we still not let her play? If she got a bully fever when she caught the bully flu, could it be contagious? Will I catch the bullies too? Oh no, I'm coming down with it. I think I'm turning mean. I might be the biggest bully anyone has ever seen. Quick, what's the bully remedy? Is there no cure in sight? Am I doomed to be a bully with no chance to make it right? Please don't call me bully. I would hate to have that name. Then I would be the one left out. I'd be the one you blame. Don't be silly, kitty. We would never act that way. Then we would be the mean ones if we never let you play. So what if Bunny's sorry? What if Bunny's sad? What if Bunny wishes that she... What if Bunny's not a bully? By Lena Button. Illustrated by Christine Bettis. When it comes to bullies, Bunny is a queen. She used to always play with us, but she was super mean. There's Bunny. There's the bully. She looks extra mean today. Stick together, everyone. Make sure she stays away. Don't look in case she's glaring. She's sure to make you sad. I bet she'd like to fight us, so don't make that bully mad. But why is she a bully? What'd she do and what'd she say? Bunny's just a bully. It's always been that way. Was Bunny born a bully? Is that the reason why? Was she the bully baby who made all the babies cry? Or did she start out friendly, a kid like you and me, but ran into a bully bug whose stinger makes you mean? Did she take a tumble and get a nasty lump? Does she have an allergy that gave her bully bumps? Did she pass a bully test at Be a Bully school, where do mean things to others is the bully golden rule? And will Bunny be the bully even when she's old and gray? When we're old as grandmas, will we still not let her play? If she got a bully fever when she caught the bully flu, could it be contagious? Will I catch the bullies too? Oh no, I'm coming down with it. I think I'm turning mean. I might be the biggest bully anyone has ever seen. Quick, what's the bully remedy? Is there no cure in sight? Am I doomed to be a bully with no chance to make it right? Please don't call me bully. I would hate to have that name. Then I would be the one left out. I'd be the one you blame. Don't be silly, kitty. We would never act that way. Then we would be the mean ones if we never let you play. So what if Bunny's sorry? What if Bunny's sad? What if Bunny wishes that she hadn't got so mad? Maybe she's been trying to say sorry all along. I know I'd want another chance if I'd done something wrong. Oh look, here comes Bunny. Wait, let's not run away. Let's just stick around and see what happens if we stay. Hi there, Bunny. How are you today? Well, I'm feeling sorry, and I'm wondering, could I play? I think friends can make mistakes every now and then. Want to see what happens? If we all just try again? I wonder if fear has ever led you to make some sad decisions. And I wonder what would happen if we let ourselves be led by love instead.
I think we need to practice singing in rounds. Although I sprung that one on you. You weren't expecting that, were you? I just got to keep you on your toes on Sunday mornings, right? Here we are again in this beautiful space. A day after the snow. and that somehow it's only 30 degrees outside. It feels especially fitting that our flowers this morning from Doug Gerard are bright and colorful in the hope that they remind us of the promise of spring. I think we need that on a cold day. Thank you, Doug. This is the time when we acknowledge the joys and the sorrows that we hold on our hearts. Many of you were here yesterday and shared the joy and the sorrow of Joe Rolling's memorial service. The joy in celebrating his life and hearing all the wonderful ways he touched so many people, and the sorrow in having to say goodbye and knowing that we won't see him again. That's the cycle of life. That's what it's all about. That we have joys and sorrows repeatedly woven throughout our existence. Sometimes they seem overwhelming. Other times when they're the joys, they're surprising and they catch us off guard and they just cause us to explode with glee. We don't know what we're going to get from moment to moment. That's the awe and the mystery of life. And still, we need to hold those joys and sorrows. We need to embrace them equally for what they are. So we have stones and water. The stones represent our joys and our sorrows. The water represents the love of community. By dropping a stone in water, we do so to seek the softening of our sorrows and the amplification of our joys. All the stones, all the individual joys and sorrows coming together in one bowl of water to be shared and borne by us as a collective community. So at this time, I invite you to come forward up the outside and back down the middle to drop a stone in water, to let it amplify your joy or soften your sorrow. And we'll do that in silence this morning. You may. There's something sacred in the stillness and the quiet of the room, and in the sound of the stones meeting one another and dropping in the water. I'll drop 3 final stones. For those we've named, for those whose names we do not know, and for those whose names are carefully guarded in our hearts. Please join me now in a moment of silent meditation, reflection, and prayer. is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. Sing it with me. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere.
Good morning. I'm Scott Kelly, and I am part of the stewardship and canvas team. And it's a little bit like running a mile race where you've got 4 laps to go around the track. And the first 3 laps, everybody kind of runs around, and usually you have 1 or 2 people in the lead, but there's kind of a pack in the middle. And then the bell rings, and you got 1 final lap to get to the front of the line. Well, that's where we're at this point of the Stewardship Canvassing Committee. So we have 4 weeks to get all of our pledges in, and we have had 3 weeks go by. This is the 4th week. So it is very, very important for all of you out there to get your pledges in. We've already received several, many, but we need more. And we are so thankful for the Canvas team who have made all the phone calls and contacted you. But this is kind of the final push, the final week to get us across that finish line so we can start planning for next year. Thank you.
If you haven't given your pledge yet, you may do so by going online or by responding to the email that all members received. During this month of our pledge drive, this doesn't mean that the work of the church stops. We're not having a share the plate this month, but we are still doing work in the community, still doing work here within the building. So if you would like to donate to First Church, apart from the pledge campaign, you may do so during the month of March. And you can do that by texting the word GIVE to 513-717-7373. If you have access to our Breeze member system, you may click Give Now, or you can give online at firstuu.com. In any situation that you choose to give, you can select the particular fund, so you may give to IHN or Shiloh or any of our programs. You can also write a check to First Unitarian Church and mail it to 536 Linton Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45219. So at this point, we're going to listen to a song. And I need to tell you a little story about the song. Back when George W. Bush was President of the United States and Bill Sinkford was President of the UUA, a reporter called Reverend Sinkford and said, "What do you think about the Bush administration's plan to promote a constitutional amendment stating that marriage is between 2 people of the opposite sex?" Reverend Sinkford's reply was, "We stand on the side of love." At that point, Jason Shelton, a well-known Unitarian Universalist musician, wrote a song called Standing on the Side of Love. And it became the theme of our justice campaign. And we had all the little yellow shirts emblazoned with standing on the side of love. And some people were hurt by that. At General Assembly in 2016, was the first mention by a disabled person. Said, I can't stand. Why are we using ableist language in our justice work? There was a lot of back-channel discussion about the song, with some people even saying that it had been unofficially banned at General Assembly. One of my seminary classmates, who uses a scooter, held up a sign that said, ouch, every time we talked about standing or walking. Now, there were many who said, this is political correctness run amok. Why should we do this? But if we're really about love, isn't it about making sure that everyone in the room feels included? Well, Jason listened to these comments, and at first he was a little hurt because he birthed this amazing song. And he understood. And he rewrote the lyrics to the song. He changed the song in 2017 to Answering the Call of Love. Congregations were given little stickers that they could put over the page in their hymnals so that the words could be changed. I don't think we have those here, but we should do that. And from that point on, the song was known as Answering the Call of Love. It was also played at Reverend Teresa Soto's ordination. And as an article in UU World says, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. And that is true. There was not a dry eye in the house. So why am I telling you this today? Because I wanted this song for today. And I found a recording of it made during COVID that uses the old lyrics. And I debated about whether I should play it. But being more inclusive doesn't mean that we never use older things. It doesn't mean that we banish the word God from all our songs. It doesn't mean that we can never sing the Hallelujah chorus again. It doesn't mean that. It means that we put them in context first. So, with that context, let's listen.
Keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear
She wrote, "When I become famous, I will tell everyone that I knew a hero named Marlon Peterson. Heroes rarely look like me. In fact, I'm what garbage looks like. Nope, not the most appealing way to open a talk or start a conversation, and perhaps you have some questions going through your head about that. Why would this man say such a thing about himself? What does he mean? How can someone view him as a hero when he sees himself as garbage?" I believe we learn more from questions than we do from answers. Because when we're questioning something, we're invested in taking in some sort of new information or grappling with some sort of ignorance that makes us feel uncomfortable. And that's why I'm here, to push us to question even when it makes us uncomfortable. So my parents are from Trinidad and Tobago, the southernmost island in the Caribbean. Trinidad is also home to the only acoustic instrument invented in the 20th century, the steel pan. Deriving from the African drums and evolving from the genius of one of the ghettos in Trinidad, a city called Laventie, and the disregard of the American military. Well, I should tell you, America during World War II had military bases set up in Trinidad, and when the war ended, they left the island littered with empty oil drums. They're trash. So people from Laventie repurposed the oil drums left behind into the full chromatic scale, the steel pan. Playing music now from Beethoven to Bob Marley to 50 Cent. Those people literally made music out of garbage. 12 days before my 20th birthday, I was arrested for my role in a violent robbery attempt in Lower Manhattan while people were sitting in a coffee shop. 4 people were shot. 2 were killed. 5 of us were arrested. We were all the products of Trinidad and Tobago. We were the bad immigrants or the anchor babies that Trump and millions of Americans easily malign. I was discarded like waste material, and justifiably so to many. I eventually served 10 years, 2 months, and 7 days of a prison sentence. I was sentenced to a decade of punishment in a correctional institution. I was sentenced to irrelevance, the opposite of humanity. Interestingly, it was during those years in prison that a series of letters redeemed me, helped me move beyond the darkness and the guilt associated with the worst moment of my young life. Gave me a sense that I was useful. She was 13 years old. She had wrote that she saw me as a hero. I remember reading that, and I remember crying when I read those words. She was one of over 50 students and 150 letters that I wrote during a mentoring correspondence program that I co-designed with a friend who was a teacher at a middle school in Brooklyn, my hometown. We called it the Young Scholars Program. Every time those young people shared their stories with me, their struggles, every time they drew a picture of their favorite cartoon character and sent it to me, every time they said they depended on my letters or my words of advice, it boosted my sense of worthiness. It gave me a sense of what I could contribute to this planet. It transformed my life. Because of those letters and what they shared with me, their stories of teen life, they gave me the permission. They gave me the courage to admit to myself that there were reasons, not excuses, but that there were reasons for that fateful day in October of 1999. That the trauma associated with living in a community where guns are easier to get than sneakers, that the trauma associated with being raped at gunpoint at the age of 14, that those are reasons for me why making that decision, that fatal decision, was not an unlikely proposition. Because those letters mattered so much to me, because writing, receiving, and having that communication with those folks so hugely impacted my life, I decided to share the opportunity with some friends of mine who were also inside with me. My friends Bill and Corey and Arox, all in prison for violent crimes, also shared their words of wisdom with the young people as well and received a sense of relevancy in return. We are now published writers and youth program innovators and trauma experts and gun violence prevention advocates and TED talkers and good daddies. That's what I call a positive return of investment. Above all else, what building that program taught me was that when we invest in the humanity of people, no matter where they're at, we can reap amazing rewards. In this latest era of criminal justice reform, I often question and wonder why is it that so many believe that only those who have been convicted of nonviolent drug offenses merit empathy and recognize humanity? Criminal justice reform is human justice. Am I not human? When we invest in resources that amplify the relevancy of people in communities like Laventille or parts of Brooklyn or a ghetto near you, we can literally create the communities that we want. We can do better. We can do better than investing solely in law enforcement as a resource, because they don't give us a sense of relevancy that is at the core of why so many of us do so many harmful things in the pursuit of mattering. See, gun violence is just a visible display of a lot of underlying traumas. When we invest in the redemptive value of relevancy, we can render a return of both personal responsibility and healing. That's the people work I care about, because people work. Family, I'm asking you to do the hard work, the difficult work, the churning work of bestowing undeserved kindness upon those whom we can relegate as garbage, who we can disregard and discard easily. I'm asking myself. Over the past 2 months, I've lost 2 friends to gun violence, both innocent bystanders. One was caught in a drive-by while walking home. The other was sitting in a cafe while eating breakfast while on vacation in Miami. I'm asking myself to see the redemptive value of relevancy in the people that murdered them, because the hard work of seeing the value in me. I'm pushing us to challenge our own capacity to fully experience our humanity by understanding the full biography of people who we can easily choose not to see. Because heroes are waiting to be recognized, and music is waiting to be made. Thank you.
Hard to listen to, isn't it? And yet, we need to listen to these voices. That's why I bring them in here for you on Sunday mornings and at other times. We need to hear these voices, lest we get stuck in our own minds and in our own visions of what justice is and who's struggling and how they're struggling. We don't know. We don't know what's going on with Bunny. We don't know what's going on with that person who's sitting in the front row at General Assembly hearing a song over and over again saying, that doesn't include me. We don't know how they're hurting. We don't know how much hurt we ourselves are causing sometimes. But this young man took that hurt and turned it into something amazing, something that we all should be doing. So what he shared with us this morning is simple, that he is human, that everyone is human. What I'm telling you is that there are people who are characterized by society as being somehow less than human. For whatever reason, because of the color of their skin, because of who they love, who they choose to marry, whether they can walk, whether they have a learning disability, whatever it is, anything that we can tag as a marginalization, as some reason why you are less than. It's not right. And if you are someone who has been characterized this way year after year, generation after generation, how can you help but feel this way? Eugene Robinson, who is a columnist for the Washington Post, wrote a book called Disintegration. And in this book, he talks about the different classes of Black Americans. And I want to read to you what he says about the abandoned class. What is it with the idea that Black plus poor equals not just privation, not just dysfunction, but a pattern of behavior that can only be described as subhuman? What is it that audiences find so compelling about grand Knoll depictions of African American poverty? Is some urge being satisfied, some itch being scratched? Is some preconceived notion being confirmed? Or is guilt being assuaged? Is society saying, in effect, yes, we have turned our backs. Yes, we have left you adrift, knowing that many of you will drown. But look how you behave. Look how you really are. You deserve it. That is his description of how we come to have an abandoned class. That class of people that seem to be the ones who are always committing crimes, who let their neighborhoods fall into disrepair and decay, who are always swearing and listening to loud music. Is it really true that somehow they still deserve subhuman treatment? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think what we are seeing is years and years and years of systemic oppression having its effect on folks. If you have been told over and over and over again that you are not enough, not good enough, you will start to believe it. And it is a miracle and a blessing and a gift when you are able to say, that's not true. I am worthy just as I am. I am a child of God just as you are. That's what we saw. That's what that young man told us. That he is worthy, and others are worthy too. So how do we find ourselves in this mess we're in society, where we've got what author Zach Norris describes as architects of anxiety, where we have a culture that is embodied in our criminal justice system, our political leaders, sadly, those on some sides of the political spectrum, when we've got them saying, fear your neighbor. Well, yeah, that neighborhood's not safe. Those people are dangerous. We're othering folks. We're perpetuating that anxiety. Even as we allow the other harms to continue, we still talk about establishing law and order. Something about this doesn't make sense to me. Something about this is not right. We're at a point where we have to look at our infrastructure. We have to look at the systems we've built and how they perpetuate what we've got now. So if you think about that 400 years, how could you expect any different result? When we have a situation where we spend more money on our military, more money on prisons, more money on police than we do on making sure everyone has health care, how can you expect a different result? It just doesn't make sense. And we do it all in the name of safety, of course, because we want to feel safe. So at Vespers this past Wednesday, we talked about safety, and I'm going to put you guys on the spot. I'm going to ask you to sit in silence for a minute and think, when was the last time you felt unsafe? Would anyone like to just call out their answer? I understand if you don't. The truth is, for many of us, and I don't include myself in this we feel pretty much safe all the time. Unless we're in that bad neighborhood, or unless we see someone who looks threatening to us. But for the most part, we're safe. We watched a video with some religious educators, and Rayla Matson, who is a religious educator from the Northeast, said, "I didn't realize how many times in my life I didn't feel safe." She is a woman of color. Carrie McDonald, who is the executive VP of the UUA and also a person of color, said, "Safety isn't a binary, it's about degree. We're all managing degrees of risk all the time." Josh Lydon, a white male minister who was part of the conversation, said, "Society is designed so that people who look like me feel safe." The difference in responses was so jarring and shocking to us. Now, author Zach Norris, who wrote Defund Fear, which is the title of our Common Read book, has said, "I understand the desire to keep your home and family safe. I want my family to be safe as much as you do. But safe from whom and from what? Who are the most dangerous threats to your family? Are they people in faraway lands? People in the inner cities? Or the people right next door? Are they people you know from within your country, your community, or even your family? And what constitutes the worst threat to your family? Is it really crime? Or is it facing eviction because you can't make rent? Is it frequent hospital visits because you live near an oil refinery and your child has asthma? Or because the water you drink is no longer safe? Safety is not just about fearing the black man who lives next door or fearing certain neighborhoods. Safety is about so much more. And what do we do about it? That's where the defunding comes in. A couple of years ago, with the very high profile and very visible killing of several black people by police, the defund the police movement took root across the country. And there were many people who said, no, 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 we have to have the police. We have to have the police. How else will we be safe? But are we safe from the police? Does the system really work? I see some shaking heads. There was a study that was actually referenced in our video Wednesday that was conducted by Harvard University at the bequest of the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court. And I remember getting the survey, because I am a member of the Mass Bar, and it was asking all of the attorneys what they thought of the criminal justice system in Massachusetts. The end result of that report was that the system is biased from beginning to end against people of color, LGBTQIA folks, disabled folks, and folks with mental disabilities. What does that say about us? When we can't get people the help they need, they behave sometimes in ways that are not healthy, that are dangerous to others. Now, I wish it were as simple as saying we won't give any money to the police anymore. But you have to admit, something's broken. We got to fix this. We're spending so much money on the military and on prisons and on police forces across the country. What if we spent that money improving the lives of everyone? What if we spent that money really making people safe instead of just giving some folks more guns? What if we did that? What if we responded not from a lens of punishment, but from a lens of support and care? And I know this is a controversial position to take. I struggled with it a little myself. And I'll remind you that 5 years ago, we had what we called the Summer of Our Discontent in the Unitarian Universalist world, where we began to talk openly about white supremacy culture. I was an intern minister at the time, and I talked about it from the pulpit. And a white male member of the congregation told me that I had basically just ruined my ministerial career by saying that word. We can't talk about white supremacy culture. We don't want to hear that. It makes us uncomfortable. Sorry. So when we talk about defund the police and we say the system's not working and something has to change, there are people who immediately respond with, no, 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 we can't do that. Look how they act. They get what they deserve. That's not it. We have to make the system better. We used the analogy of a race earlier, and I'm going to take that analogy and use it in this way. What if you're told you have to go run a race right now? Lois, you're going to go run a race. And all the lanes are already set. Sorry you're not wearing running shoes or anything like that. Too bad, just get in line. You got to go. Everybody else has on their little running gear and their perfect shoes and all that stuff. You don't. Too bad. Oops, they already started. You better catch up, Lois. All the other lanes on the track are smooth. But Lois is like, wait a minute, why does my lane have hills and holes and it's not paved right? And I got to jump over hurdles too? Nobody else has hurdles. Oops, you fell down. Too bad, there's no medic to help you. If the system isn't fair to begin with, we can never hope to achieve justice, equity, and equality and fairness. We can never hope to get there. So for us as Unitarian Universalists, theologically, from a covenantal perspective, and just from the way that we are, the way that we see justice, we have an obligation to do the work of repairing the system, of not perpetuating the violence that is visited upon those who have been marginalized. Our theology says that we are all interconnected. If we're all interconnected, then my liberation is bound up with Lois's with her liberation, and with that young man, and with all the people who are living in those neighborhoods. I can't stand here and say, well, our little group at First Church is feeling okay. That's not how this works. Our theology is such that we are interconnected with every being on the planet. So what are we going to do? How are we going to do that work? From a covenantal perspective, we have an obligation to one another, because that's what covenant is. I am with you because I want to be here. You are with me because you want to be here. And together we agree that this is how we're going to be. It does not mean, none of this means, that if a person causes harm, they shouldn't be separated or held accountable for their behavior. What the covenant allows us to do is to have that person say, I am sorry, I caused harm, I understand what harm I caused, and I will do the work that is needed to be part of community again. It's not a free pass. We're not saying go out and kill whoever you want and, oh, we'll just love on you because we're the yellow shirt people. That's not what we're saying. There is still accountability. And from a justice standpoint, we say we stand for justice. We side with justice. We promote justice in all we do. I don't want to use the H word, but it sounds a little hypocritical to me if we say we are all for justice and equity and we don't do the work. We have to do the work. This is our chance. This is our time, because we are the ones who will keep us safe. We are the ones. And if you want to know more about this, this is the topic of the book Defund Fear. What you probably didn't know is when this book was written, when it was originally written, the title was We Keep Us Safe. And he changed the title after George Floyd and after COVID. Just to remind us that we need to defund the fear. We need to defund the anxiety. We have to live into being communities of care, communities of accountability, communities of love. At the end of the book, he tells us this. Zach Norris. Real safety happens when we bridge the divides and build relationships with each other, overcoming suspicion and distrust. Real safety comes from strategic, smart investments, meaning resources are directed toward our stability and our well-being. Real safety addresses the harms that the current system is failing to tackle and holds people accountable for those harms while still holding them in community. Real safety results from reinstating full humanity and agency for everyone who has been dehumanized and traumatized, so they can participate fully in society. If we're able to transform our old system and create a culture of caring and healing in its place, he concludes, we may have an actual shot at creating real democracy for the first time. I would say we may have an actual shot at creating beloved community for the first time. Because in the end, we keep us safe. Amen.
You better listen, my sisters, 'cause if you do, you can hear there are voices still crawling across the years. They're all crying across the ocean, and they're crying across the land, and they will till we all come to understand. None of us are free. None of us are free. None of us are free. One of us is changed. None of us are free. And there are people in darkness, and they just can't see the light. If you don't say it's wrong, then you say it's right. We gotta feel for each other. Let our brothers know we care. Gotta get the message, send it out loud and clear. None of us are free. None of us are free. None of us are free. One of us is chained. None of us are free. It's a simple truth. We all need to see. None of us are free. One of us is chained. None of us are free. Now I swear to you, salvation isn't too hard to find. But none of us can find it on our own. We gotta join together, bring spirit, heart, and mind, so that every soul is suffering will never know. If you just look around you, you're gonna see what I say. 'Cause the world is getting smaller each passing day. Now it's time to start making changes, and it's time for us all to realize that the truth is shining bright right before our eyes. None of us are free. None of us are free. None of us are free. One of us is changed. None of us are free. It's the very hell of humanity. None of us are free. One of us is changed. None of us are free.
None of us is free if one of us is changed. Woo. We're going to extinguish our chalice by reading together the words that appear on the screen. Together we say, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. As we return to our world of service, we have a few announcements to share with you this morning. go. The survey for replacing the chalice will be out today. My apologies, it wasn't out last week. These are the 4 options that you'll see. They're also posted on the art wall along with a diagram that gives you a feel for the size. So you will be able to vote online if you want. You can go over to the wall and just put a tick mark next to the one that you like, or you can send an email to administrator@firstuu.com. Let's extend a welcome to First Church's new finance manager. Chris Smith has joined First Church. You will notice that the title is not Director of Operations. We are doing some shuffling with responsibilities and duties, and Chris will be here to work with us on all things financial, payroll related, human resources, pledging. She will work on all of those things, accounts payable. And her office hours will be Tuesday through Friday. Right now, as you can imagine, there's a lot of transition work going on, so I'm sure you're all eager to just show up and stand at her door and say hello. But let's let her get settled for just a minute. And she will be in the office that's at the open window, in the smaller office right outside here. Welcome, Chris. And the UU Women's Retreat is coming up, and there has been a price reduction. The new all-inclusive price is $75. So embrace the spirit of coming together again and sign up for the women's retreat. Mary Mark is here today somewhere, so there she is back there. So if you'd like more information about it, please talk to Mary, or you can send her an email or give her a call. Thank you.